an aggressive one round, gets killed by, I'm not sure, I think it was Cray towards Highway, but anyway. Only one round did we see aggressive AWP play from FM. Other rounds, it was Neilzinho playing passive with it. And if you're uFrag and you're Adam XO and you're the primary AWPer for the CT side and you're not versus an aggressive AWPer, you need to be taking advantage of that. You need to be taking the first early frags, the early picks, and netting your team the early advantage. But instead, you really see that happening, and unfortunately for him, he didn't have too much impact with the AWP, and the double saves proved to be futile.
Well, now we get to roll in to what should be the first round coming very, very soon. And
predictions. 16-8.
16-8. You think that it's going to be more rounds on the board for uFrag, especially when they're starting on this T side. I'm looking right now at, as much as I believed in them in the first map, after what we've just witnessed there, I think it's going to be pretty damn tough for them to mentally reset this hard to bring themselves back into the second map. Now, Adam is a sort of player that can do it as an individual. I've seen him be able to at least pull back to a somewhat of a reasonable level, but the rest of these players, hugely unpredictable. So 16-5, 16-6 is kind of where I'm leaning towards right now. But they are straight into this one. It's already going to be some very quick aggression, and Robin, he is just going to be dropping them dead. Back-to-back headshots, ladies and gentlemen, is what we will see. 4 quick frags for him. He is playing for his fifth. Jenko going to steal it out of his hands.
They don't care. This is the thing. They have no respect for uFrag right now. They know they've already won this map. It's true, though. There's just no respect coming out from the CT side. And FM, they just think, who are these noobs in the server? Where's my £100 for this map win already?
This is what a spectacle for our first pistol round of this map.
To talk about that, anyway, so the early aggression towards Connector, getting the information, obviously Robin there with incredible headshots. If he didn't find those early frags, he would have been traded out on the A-bomb, so that would have been up for grabs for uFrag, but he does go down, and
he just goes huge.
A full save for uFrag.
I mean, I would never have expected to see that, right? This is the first time that we've ever seen uFrag go for a full save on a follow-up round after a pistol. Mind-blowing stuff being brought to the table. But hey, can they actually at least do some damage, right? That's kind of the more glass-half-full approach to take to this round.
If they are double saving, and they're going to have the Molotovs and flashes, please can they use them? Can we see them flush out the CTs? Maybe opt for a B play, have a molly towards water, molly towards barrels, flashes over, smokes towards heaven and bridge, and try again, execute going. I mean, if you play the Angels, FM are going to win.
Well, it certainly has been said. It's something that's not going to disappear very, very soon. But in the meanwhile, we have ourselves some pistols, trying ever so hard to make the best out of this situation. Now we
love the pistols.
It's just their kind of most favoured weapon.
Not really their choice though. They'd much rather the rifles. The problem is they lose every single rifle round versus FM, and when you do so, you are put onto the pistols. So anyway, Pommer there, the Glock. Not even one kill for uFrag, and this is another thing we can talk about as well. When you double save, it's so good for the FM side. Not only do they get a free round, they get free economy. 5 players stay alive.
Everything is coming up in their direction. Of course, it looks like we have ourselves a bit of a pause now. Something tells me this is not actually a pause. It was the fact that they paused around at the start of the last round when the team kill took place, which basically was off the back of the fact they were trying to joke around because FM were having a little bit of fun.
Maybe they feel disrespected. I'm not really
well,
too
they
sure.
were trying to kick the teammates, basically, if you want me to be straight up with what took place. I was kind of giggling away at the team chat I could see in the bottom left of the screen as they were being... I'm not sure if the PG-13 way of saying it is a bit emotional.
They couldn't care less, to be fair.
Yeah. Either way, look to be getting into this one relatively
Here's a
soon.
question. Do you reckon FM could win 4v5?
Wow, you are putting me on the spot right now. That is... I feel like that's a bit of a push. I would hope for UKCS's sake and for uFrag's sake in a nutshell that they would be able to close that one out. I would hope. But at the same time now I'm kind of sitting here going, what's brutal? I feel like we've took the line of brutal, we've kind of set ourselves up with a goalpost and we've just smashed well and truly past it because at this point there is just no filter.
Yeah, there is no filter. I mean, uFrag, they're forfeiting another round. It's going to be 3-0 for FM, and if 5 players stay alive again, economy is going to be looking so good for FM. So even if uFrag win the first buy round, FM they're going to have buys and buys and buys.
Buys for days, as it is going to be some pretty much pent-up aggression unfolding on towards this B site. Are you ready for the Lambs to go to the slaughter? FM, they say yes. They make it nice and easy. They do it nice and comfortably. They take it in their stride. Good night, sweet dreams. uFrag, your attempt was in vain, but this is the round we're waiting to see. This is where they saved everything towards. This is huge for them. They have to make this work. They have to do something with it.
I just hope they use the utility they saved for. I mean, what's the point in double saving if you're going to have 3 people die with all their utility? Pointless. Anyway, hopefully we'll see it execute on the Molotovs. Actually, how many Molotovs? Only 3 Molotovs there, Adam.
It's enough.
How come he's only got the opener? Oh, obviously, I'm an idiot, obviously. 5,000.
They have enough utilities, the
yep.
point worth to be stressing. They have everything they need. They have the tool set. They have to do something with it. Pommy going for the early boost is very smart. Nets them that opening pick on towards Jenko.
So to speak about that, why has the CTs gone for the early aggression? They have no AWPs, they can't really play slow, they can't really play for the picks, and when you don't have an AWP, it's so hard to hold party and hold mid when you're in the toilets areas. There's such long range, hard duels to take. So instead, you opt for the double long push, have the aggression. Even if you die, have one player die, or go for one trade, and you still get the information. The information is so important when you're the CT side. Having those rotations on point is going to net you those round wins.
Those round wins are exactly what they're looking for.
He's trying to bait the player, and I think the jiggle peek after he shot quite clever there, but unfortunately, there's no one in connector.
I'm looking at the CT side setup, and I'm pretty much just waiting to see how Pulse wants to play this one out, because there are so many different angles he could take. He could look towards connector and just be patient. He could look up towards that kind of ramp fountain push. Or he could just do what he's done right now, which is fall back and kind of rely on the rest of his teammates to find the picks and get the information, which in fairness to Robin is exactly what he's done, because now Pulse, he's fallen back, he gets to sit towards that tight angle in toilet. He can't miss the first shot, which just presents him in the predicament of him actually not even getting to fire one off, and Dom more than happy to knock him down a peg. But then you look towards the rest of the FM side, they still have a very strong chance to just get this one to work out in their favor. Back-to-back trades will begin to take place. Hype gonna seal the deal over towards the CT side. So great stuff coming out from him, and this should actually be something for them to work with.
Yeah, Robin there, trying to find an M4 to save, but unfortunately it will go down. 3-1 now. uFrag finally find a round on the board, and we saw this happen last map. They won the first buy round, then they lost it. But now on the T side, so it's not quite as bad. It's not quite as harsh of a reset when you're on the CT side. So hopefully they can start to chain rounds together, build an economy, and even if they do lose a round here and there, they still have money to buy, and they can keep the pressure high onto the CT side.
It's all about just making sure they do feel whenever so mentioned pressure. Something that is going to be just kind of tickling them right in the back of the neck, making sure that it's ever so prevalent. As already, it's going to be nothing too different from FM. They're just kind of peeking around the place, looking to get themselves some sort of information, just kind of flying out that hook and waiting to see if uFrag will bite, which in terms of their positions, they really don't have too much of an option to do just that. It's passive towards connector, they're sitting towards the back of A.
So, CTs now, they're opting to play passive. When they got aggressive in the last round, it didn't work out for them. And they have the 5 rifles, so they might even play passive, play the retakes. They have kits, they have Molotovs. With the rifles, you are going to be in a good position there for that retake. And once Robin spots no one here towards Monster, this could be a tell, and he might even go for a rotate towards A, especially if he sees no one B short as well.
Could certainly prompt a bit of movement, but seems like it is just going to be ever so slow. Robin getting himself close to that door crate. Going to be looking for a frag of his own, but this peak could drop him dead completely, and the timing is just what comes up trumps for the CT side. The first pick will be claimed.
And now look, they're all running towards A. This is where the rotations come in, and they're going to have 4 players for the CT side to hold off this A attack.
Pulse is going to fall back, so still a very solid and almost anchor-based style. You look towards the utility now. They still have some, but they're just going to push anyway. Dom will find the opening pick, but Pulse's position, he's just going to go absolutely huge in this one. Goes for the long spray, misses the second frag, but Stanley, he's been bought enough time. He's enabled the fly-in from behind, and right now, uFrag, this is what it feels like. I don't even want to touch on the utility. Right now, what runs through my head is, uFrag for me, it's almost like me saying to myself, I'm not going to keep using the phrase, seal the deal. I've said it so much tonight, and I keep kind of pinching myself and saying, you know, I'm not going to say that anymore. uFrag, it's the same sort of storyline. If you want to touch on utility, we can tie that in by saying, every single time they say they're going to use utility, they just don't use it anyway. 3
players out of the 4 players alive there have 4 sets of grenades, and they are on the safe, so it doesn't really matter about the first pick. We're going to be looking at 5-1 now in favor of FM. eSports as Nilzino finds 1, spots another player. But as you're talking, utility, 3 players had a flash, a molly, and a smoke grenade, and we only saw 1 smoke, and that was a failed smoke with a gap in it.
They can keep pinching themselves.
The one smoke they throw is failed, has a gap in it, and Pulse uses it to spray down one player and tag another.
The way I'm gonna hold my bring back my hope. I'm gonna kind of grab a rope, and it is a pretty hard one to do. It's pretty damn heavy.
What are you gonna grab that rope for?
I'm gonna try.
If you're a uFrag fan right now.
Wow, that got deep real quick. I'm looking at this and going, okay, can we pull ourselves back up this cliff and stop this train from kind of rolling over?
I mean, they probably should have picked train, because it's not looking too good for them on overpass as well. 5-1 now in favour of uFrag. The Galil coming out from 2 players, so the economy as well not looking too good. And the AWP is on Jenkins. Can he find the first frag? No, he will be traded out. Not even traded. We'll go down to Cray. One-man lead, can they use it?
Can they take advantage of it? That would be more ideal.
That's the information as well. He's just run through B, and now they can have the rotation here. So even though you have the player advantage, the rotation and the information is in the favor of the CT side.
I'm all eyes towards this Molotov on height, backed up by Cray as well. They still have a lot of utility on this T side. Not only as well do they have that man advantage, they should just be able to throw this one out and get themselves set up. Pommy with the AWP is going to be searching for that pick, backed up by Adam. We talked about Adam, didn't really get too much done. Pommy just going to jump through a smoke. So many questions left to be asked, and yes, they found themselves a frag, but it's one that can easily be traded back down, and well, Dom going to be looking to do so much work, but Robin, he is right in behind him. He's going to be the thorn in the side. The bomb has been dropped. And now they are stuck going, what on earth can we possibly do? It is a 2v2. Crate will retrieve it. So we have to look at this retake back from the side of FM. Stanley looking to readjust. Robin still somewhat out of action.
They need to find this frag onto Stanley. Instead, they will spot the player out. That's the bomb going down. And the reason, we'll talk about the reason why after. Can Dom win this 1 versus 2?
It's so smart that Stanley's backed off as well now because he knows that he's got this in that 2v1 as mentioned.
They can play together
Dom,
as well.
He knows that they're going to play together now, surely off the back of this. So he has to go for that plant. That's always the given, considering especially when he has 15 seconds left. But where does he go off this? Because if he peeks towards long and goes for the longer range battles, he's going to get double face and pits himself into such an uncomfortable one. He doesn't even get to the side. Stanley puts some lead in his head.
Let's talk about that 2 versus 2. You know Robin's on the flank, so you can't plant for toilets and you can't plant facing toilets. You know that Stanley is somewhere CT. Could be bank, could be stairs, so you can't really plant for either of those. So instead, they play it quite smart, they play together, but instead they separate at the point that was most important. One player goes stairs, one player goes through bank and tries to flank that way, but it gives Stanley the 1 versus 1. He wins that duel versus Cray, makes it the 2 versus 1. Stanley smartly runs off heaven, runs back all the way around towards CT. Dom in the 1 versus 2 gets traded out, doesn't even get traded out, just gets sprayed down and overwhelmed by that double face from the CT side, and it's a 5-round lead, and it's, it's a full eco, not even full eco, they have the Tech 9s, but no armor once again, so they'll just be more down. And luckily for them, they're versus an AWP.
Janko.
Oh god.
He gets the peek, but he's the distraction right now. He's all but a ruse. Pulse going to swing in from behind, and he lets it go in every single direction. And the man to try and mop things up and make the best of it will be hype, but even then, he's got himself the AWP, and that is going to be it. Goes for the peak, not quite going to get too much information. The CT side, they've just withdrawn at this point. They know they have themselves a huge spotting at point of view. All they have to do is just throw out their utility, keep on slowing them down. And what's uFrag's play here?
Try and find a few picks and try and take some guns off of FM. Unless Adam can find 2 picks onto a site, it's not really looking too good for them. And Robin will find the pick onto Tortvidas. That is hype. He will go down. Adam spraying Stanley there, takes him down, and actually pulls him 1 HP. So nope, he doesn't go down, but Adam will. So 7-1, 6-round lead now, and they do have the buy. They have the money as well. Will they go for double AWP setup again? Instead, it's looking like it's going to be the maybe no AWP. Yeah, so this could be a B. This could be set B play. Molly off towards barrel, flash over, smoke bridge, and try to go fast B.
I think you've already answered the question for me, but I did kind of want to touch on something. There's one thing we want to see from uFrag, and it's one word, and it starts with U, and I think we all know what that word is going to be. They have to utilize it.
Find frags. uFrag.
That or utility, that was all I was going
fair
for.
Play, fair play.
I mean, I feel like that would be pretty damn just at this point as Tom. He is going to start things off, but Jenko, with the quick pick nonetheless, finds himself 2. Eventually on towards height, the constant repeat is just so daunting. Gets himself finally caught off guard. The repeat will be punished and the plant will be found. But Pulse, he's going to swing in from short. How many times has Pulse got away with this?
You need to be covering. There's such a nice flick as well for Dom. It's going to make this a 2 versus 2, but the bomb is down. Kits on the CTs and a Molotov as well for Neil M? Neil Zinho. Yes, exactly. So can he find the frags and can he make this work?
So he's going to burn on the way, but Pulse, the timing nearly completely messes him up, but he gets away with it nonetheless. They're going in the 1v1. The elevated angle with the P250 is going to be what wins them that round, but ever so close.
Neil Zinho is the beans. Takes him down and wins the round and gets the defuse as well.
Neil Zinho, Neil M. I mean, I'm not quite sure which one you're going for there.
Neil Zinho is the beans and he takes him down and 8-1. And they win another gun round. 7-round lead. Actually, we do see a force buy. Wow.
Surely this is when a penny drops, right? And they know they have to make that change. This is. I'm actually okay with this.
No timeout as well. No pause.
Yeah, I think that's something that you kind of see quite a lot in UK Counter-Strike, though. Teams don't seem to realize that they have this,
allowing
this
themselves to be dominated right now.
They're just going to take it. But let's see if they can make this rhythmic change. They've gone for the force up, and Stanley, that was artistic. as he catches off Dom already with that quick flick. And now going to fall back right into those backlines. Pulse going to be the man to move up to the, well, that trench position. Bommy will begin to start to gain some ground. He's playing much more of this upfront and personal style. And both of them, the second man being Adam, will get a reward for it. Bojenko still going to respond the headshot on towards Cray, and this leaves us in a 3v3. Pulse still dancing around this pillar, and you just have to look at kind of how much of a pain he's being. And that's why we've led to this point where uFrag, they know they have to rotate.
Well, he knows what's going on. He has the AWP as well, so he can have the AWP scope into toilets and mid. He finds his frag now. Actually opting to have the pistol. They don't know he's here. This is so smart. Bomb doesn't go down. He can find the AWP frag now. Actually, no. Actually opts to wide face into top for his spray. Hype will take him down. It's the 1 versus 1 now. And he goes towards B.
Hype is an interesting player when it comes down to clutches, because he's either going to play it absolutely perfectly and get it right down to a T, or it's going to be a bit of a spectacle when it comes down to failure. In terms of the read he's gone for this double fake style. But this is different. But this is exactly what we expected from Hype. He went for a double fake, he went back up towards the A site, but now he's looking to take it the full 3-way distance. As he's back on towards the B, the plant is going to be going down, and Pulse, he's not in position, so it is going to be that 1-for-1. He does have the kit, so it is still, as mentioned, that 1-for-1 retake.
I think it's Hype doubting himself as well. I mean, when you're 8-1 up, went down even, you can't really be playing with that much confidence, and Pulse, though, has no idea what Hype is. Hype can be anywhere for some reason. Actually, yeah, he does hear the steps, so no longer facing towards CT. Here's the steps. Pulse here, can have to find a fast headshot if he wants to win this. And actually, I don't know.
Is this an appropriate time to whip out the brutal, savaged wreck?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's pretty appropriate, right?
Or whiff.
I mean, I don't think that really does it justice. That's right there. They are the sort of things that lose you matches. Because right now, that was but that was a round where if they picked up that round, they could at least try to build some momentum. That's
true. Yep.
Yes, it's arguable. You know, things may already be too far gone. But I'm looking at the T side of Overfast and going, if they can get some momentum, they can get themselves to 5. 5 is the ever so pertinent number. Then there's actually an opportunity for them. But right now, losing those clutches when it's coming down to that sort of close to a marker, it's not okay. Already in this round, it's going to be a bit of a 1-for-1 trade. Cray looking to at least bring things back to a more contestable manner. Jenko, he should be dead, guaranteed. 1 HP is all he has left, but he's just being allowed to repeat after repeat around this smoke.
Oh
what was that shot? Straight on towards Pommy. Pulse with another on towards Hype and uFrag. They are getting absolutely decimated. Cray, he's the last man standing. He tried to be the anchor. Yes, he won himself the frag on towards Stanley, but it's still a 1v3.
Yeah, Jenko 1 HP there, such a great play. Uses the smoke to bait other players out. As you saw, that player that was to the right of him was looking to the right side of the rock. Obviously,
I do have to kind of just completely interject here, because Cray has just found himself 3 quick frags on low HP players. He's actually in a 1v1. He's playing for not only the ace, a huge clutch.
But look where the bomb is as well, and 50 seconds on the clock as well. So if they get the bomb, I'll take 10 to 15 seconds. And then once he has the bomb, he has 20 seconds to get to a bomb site. And if Neilzinho reads it well, he will win this round. And talk about what I was saying before, in some downtime in this round, Jenko smokes the right side of the rock, and you expect him to face from the left side. Instead, he shift walks to the corner of the smoke, catches that player off guard, and then gets that crazy jumping no-scope onto the following player. But Credo finds 2 fast frags, and somehow this is a 1 versus 1.
Yeah, but he's just taking so much time.
I don't think he's got time to plot,
he's not actually got time to get the bomb down. He's got 10 seconds. He knows at this point. There is... I don't physically think he actually has the ability to get this down.
Oh my goodness, he does. He does.
Just by the skin of his teeth, this may actually go through. Yeah, he needed just half a second longer. But the fact that he dwindled around, literally a second could have changed the pace of that round. Again, another 1v1 lost, another opportunity for them to build up momentum. And I don't want to take this one away from him, because that wasn't as tragic as the way that previous 1v1 clutch was lost, because of the fact he was able to pull back 4 frags and was playing for an ace. But even then, at the end of the day, they needed the round.
They play so scared. They just have so much respect for FM, and Jenko goes for the connector peek again, takes down Hype, and it's now a 5 versus 4, and the MP9 on Robin as well. 2 picks again, 1 minute 30 on the clock, and already uFrag have lost 2 members. This is looking like 11-1. This could be even worse than the first map.
So we'll just take a moment to sit back and acknowledge how this has swung, how we've got to this point. Cray will look to try and make a bit of a change as he finds himself that frag, but how many times has Cray tried so hard, but in the end it just has not quite mattered as Pommy will at least find one on towards Jenko, but it's again that same sort of storyline as Robin will eventually find the trade, Pulse to find the second, Dom looking to get this kind of sort of aura of response, but even then it's something that just sits in the back of his mind of that doubt, because he's in a 1v2, he's got 50 seconds, but look at these positions from FM. Yes, it's fairly detached from Robin's point of view, but they have so much information to work with.
Low HP though, one bullet from this A camp. Both players will take them down, and actually Dom had great positioning, but he's opted to give it up, and Wolf on the fast edge onto Stanley. It's going to be the 1 versus 1, 30 seconds on the clock.
He should have saw him there. He should know exactly where Robin's going to be positioned.
Crouched, I'm not too sure. Doesn't see him again. Oh, that's such a nice shot. Actually doesn't get the headshot, but still gets the spray down. As I mentioned before, Robin low HP, one bullet from that AK takes him down, and two rounds. But this could be 8-4.
I think there is, not even digging into the scoreline aspect, there is one point that is, justifiably, worth highlighting for uFrag. The amount of damage they have been able to inflict has meant that FM haven't actually been able to build up an economy, and it's showing in this round.
Constant 1v1s, but the 1v1s are also constantly going in the favor of FM. And as I just said, if uFrag had won those clutch 1v1s, this could be 8-4, and even higher than that, this could be 8-6, as FM would have been on the reset. So unfortunately for them, they are looking at an 8-round deficit in the force by coming out for FM eSports.
We've seen this before. It was just as tragic before with these pistols when they managed to make it work already. Pulse, that opening is up with a quick 2. Adam will at least find one for his troubles. Cray getting forced to turn on around, but not before these peaks can just overwhelm them. And FM, they did it once, they're looking to do it again as Pommy. He has his work absolutely cut out from a 1v3.
Pommy as
and
well.
The pistols, they're out of this one now. FM, we're back to seeing them with rifles. Yes, they don't have any utility, but they have Kevlar behind these rifles. This is effectively a full buy 3 versus 1. Pommy, what on earth can he possibly do?
Stanley currently shooting smiley faces into the wall, will go down. That's going to be Pommy's 4th frag of the game. Not the best performance from him in his best of 2, but if he wins this clutch, that could just bring him back into this game.
In fairness, his route to actually making this clutch work is pretty much based on these 1 versus 1s, right? Because
he can fake this as well, go connector.
Well, the smoke is going to go down. If he's going to go for the fake, he really needs to go for it. Looks like he is just going to push it in, tries to go for the initial headshot, not quite able to connect. The repeat from Jenko is just going to be too strong. He finds himself yet again overwhelmed, and that is the pace for uFrag right now.
It's so pointless to smoke off stairs. You know the player's going to be playing towards site. It's a 2 versus 1. The round's been going on for so long. Smoke the bomb, smoke a place where you can plant. That's what you'd see. That's what you see a lot of pros do when they have one smoke and many options to smoke. They instead smoke the bomb, plant inside the smoke, opts them, or gives them, sorry, some security and some safety. But instead, point will go down. It's going to be 11 rounds on the board now for FM.
This peak, in terms of this exact connector peak that we're watching right now, we have seen it so many times, and the fact that it's consistently netting at least a frag at minimum, something's got to change in that regard. Surely there's some sort of adaptation that goes, okay, they're getting a frag every single round off of us in connector.
Hype as well, not too happy in the chat there. Probably expecting that not BM, but disrespectful play from Jenko, just wide facing constantly. These players have so much confidence, and yeah.
uFrag, they're letting their emotions get to them.
I
As much as I don't like to take the
emotions.
chat into account, when you're seeing what we're seeing in the chat, when we're seeing these guys react in the way,
They're not
even from the chat, you look at the way they're actually playing themselves and structuring themselves as a lineup. Right now, uFrag, whether emotions is the right word, something is getting to them, something is taking over. Anger.
Very tilted.
I don't like the T word because I feel like the tilted word is a way just to kind of say, okay, yeah, we're going to use this as an excuse. Tilted summarizes a lot of other things, whether it's anger, whether it's actually just sheer emotion in itself.
I would say frustration. They can't find any picks, they can't find any openings onto any bomb sites. And instead, it's always the opening frag for the CT side, and uFrag, they're always working with less numbers.
They never get themselves an advantage, and at this point, I'm not quite sure what even the highlight. We're just seeing frags are plenty. Cray a 1v4, and, well, he got 4 frags in the last one.
Yeah.
This is not, I don't even see a pack of straws anywhere. Can anybody from production just whip out a pack of straws right now? Because there is none in this matchup. There is nothing we can clutch at.
I think I see 5 straws on the T side, because they're not doing too well. Crowther does find 2. I mean, could this be the miracle round that puts them on 3? Can they win the pistol from this? Or, yeah, he goes down. I mean, I was about to say, or will he just get swiftly headshot? And yes, he will. Robin will take him down. 13-2. I mean, there's not really too much to cast.
I'm actually pretty curious right now because I've just seen something popped in the chat, which is pretty much a pause, right?
Let me take a look. Why are you pausing at 13-2?
That was kind of what I want to dig into right now. We talked about how I find that watching a lot of UK teams, they all seem to forget the fact they have this tactical pause. When it's 13-2, what do you gain from attack pause? There is, at this point, when you're going to a second half...
Just give the map up, give the 2 up, and learn from the demos.
I feel like it's bleak, but at this point, it's looking exceptionally difficult. If they wanted to come back, they need the pistol round at minimum. If they lose the pistol round, we're pretty much done, because they aren't the strongest of teams when it comes down to these second round force-ups, because they don't like doing them, so they're not experienced actually bringing them to the table.
Well, Overpass, 13-2. 2 examples of that is going to be Fnatic versus Luminosity, now SK, IAM. Not sure which one it was, can't really remember, but it was a 13-2 half. Fnatic on the CT side brought it back, but the problem is Fnatic were the favourites in that matchup. Fnatic versus Luminosity at the time. Recently, Cloud9 versus SK, 13-2 again, but SK were the favourites. 13-2 uFrag FM. uFrag, they're not the favourites, so I'm not really too sure how this one's going to go.
Yeah, it certainly leaves a lot to be, well, not really discussed, to be honest. Usually it'd kind of be like, okay, well, there's a lot to be desired, or there's a lot to discuss,
but really, much about it, can you?
there's not a key talking point. There is not a narrative that allows us to really kind of discuss this matchup.
Talk about the team uFrag. We can talk about how...
Well, is there really a team, though? Because, to be honest, they've been making roster changes left, right, and centre.
I wouldn't say left, right, and centre. I would say that...
I'm talking within the entire year.
Oh, 3 months. 3 months,
3 months, yeah. It's quite a lot.
They had Claw, they had Cray, and those two were a duo. They worked well together. Cray being the entry fragger, Claw being the mop-up player, that second man in that gets the trade frags, gets those kills on the site and opens up the site. Instead, you've just got a bundle of roles. Every rifler on this team wants to play entry. Hype, Dom, and then obviously Pommy. They want to play entry. Cray as well. Adam with the AWP. Yes, he's the primary AWP, but he isn't the fast, aggressive AWP that's going to grant you picks. Instead, he's the slow, steady, passive. He'll get you the one frag if they go to the bomb side, but if his flash is smoked off, he's not really the playmaker to make those rounds or to open up those rounds.
Here's the question for you, and I have a point to lead off the back of this. How long has this specific lineup, including, discluding, sorry, that substitute, how long has this specific uFrag lineup been together? Would you say?
2 days after Epic 19.
Okay, so with
Epic
that sort
19 was what? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, so with that time frame really set in stone, I look at Adam, and Adam is a player that has led teams. He's got a lot of experience as a leader in Counter-Strike. But one thing, and one really recurring trend when it comes down to the teams that he leads, he needs a whole lot of time to get them to a point where he is happy, because he is very precise in the way he plans things out.
OCD would be an example, yeah.
Everything has to be perfect down to a T. Now, that's nothing against him. I think that's, great for a team, and it really shows that if you can get a team that sticks together and actually is more than happy to spend 6 months cracking and grinding out.
It's not just that, but think about how much better and how much of an improvement we saw between week 1 train, uFrag, week 2 train. Problem is, they're currently on their week 1 as they've switched the player, so now they are opting in for their new roster. Dom being swapped out, sorry, Claw being swapped out for Dom. It's hard to remember all these names, they just go back and forth, don't they? Jesus Christ.
UKCS.
UKCS, and we are live now, so we can go back into this. So the pistol, 5 sets of armor for uFrag. They may play aggressive. Actually, going to be the same pistol we see every single week. The boost on Hell and the retake B, and then one of those players playing towards barrels, water, or Hell.
Oh, let's see if they can do the job. Adam looking for some swift one-taps. Will find himself 2. Eventually makes it to a triple kill. Now looking in for a 4th, but he is being overwhelmed. But they tried to go for the knife. He finds himself all 5 frags. Huge step up from Adam. But let's just dial things down a notch.
Let's just clone him. Get 5 of him. Maybe get some more rounds.
Just take a second. Let's just. I want to bring this one back down to ground earth, because yes, that may have been huge. But
at
hold
the end
up.
of the day, yeah.
Look at the scoreline.
At the end of the day, you've had an incredible round on the pistol, and it's still 10-round deficit.
Yeah, it gets your blood pumping. It gets you excited. It makes you feel like you want to jump. Makes you feel like you want to shout. But it is that 10-round deficit, and they're still going to get forced up by FM. Now, my concern here, we've seen 3 rounds in this matchup where FM have won on dry pistols up against full buys. This time around, they actually have Kevlar behind that.
Well, 5 Tech-9s coming out from FM, so they're going to opt to play fast. They've gone for the toilets aggression. They want to see if they can find an opening. They found no opening towards toilets, so they will go back and they'll probably go towards B. Be short, try and find a pick. They're playing off that pick. Once you get that 1 kill, you can swarm the site, play trades, and try and win the afterplan.
Let's see if that really does kind of ring true as hype. He's going to be popping down a bit of a defensive flash. Clearly an idea of what they're expecting. Tech-9s are going to begin to worm their way into position.
Good bait, the rotation from A. And now here comes the aggression towards short, and this Pommy, if he gets caught off guard, the A site will be FM's, but instead he finds the first, sprays down another one, sprays down 3. Can he get any more?
The answer is going to be yes, getting shut down just before he can get himself on towards that ace.
This is what I'm saying, okay? Pommy is not a bad player, but that you look at the stats, you look at the impact he's had in this game, you know, you wouldn't be saying that. You wouldn't be saying he's a good player, but at the same time, his impact is at the start of the round. You need Pommy to have the impact at the start of the round. He isn't the clutch and late round player. Instead, in this team and the way the roles work, he is the player that's in the mid round. He is the player that's in the 3 versus 3. You don't want him there.
It feels like some sort of readjustment certainly should be made in terms of playing these guys to their best possible spots. At this point, my eyes, they're on this gun round. If uFrag can actually get themselves a full-fledged gun round, then my hope will start to build up. Then I have this sort of shard of belief that can eventually manifest into something beautiful. Or at least we can hope. But for now, it's not even begun. The seed has yet to be planted. It's going to be that buy round we're waiting to see. This should just be easy.
But there is no seed because Dom's just standing. This isn't a team. I mean, they may crack actually. Dom is an up-and-coming player. Very talented, great aim, and he just needs experience under his belt, and he will be a great player. Maybe he will blossom in uFrag, but today is not that day. FM, 5 rifles. We could see a fast B here. Molotov as well onto Nilzinho. Maybe a Molotov towards barrel. 2 players view short, 3 monster. Fast B take. uFrag that they have the mollies and they have the firepower. Can they hold it off?
They have everything they need.
I'm wrong again. Jesus Christ. Instead, they're going to go towards A. Heavy connector presence. When you don't have the AWP, you want to play the close range battles. Obviously, connector being one of those, and that's a bad flash, and he will be taken down. Pommy not quite getting the flash that needs to connect there. Now, Craig, can he get that pick onto Robin? Can he even out the numbers and make it a 4 versus 4?
This would be ideal. He certainly knows that there is a guy there, but he doesn't quite want to bite the bullet. Eventually, he's going to push on through. Will meet Robin. Was no flash, but still gets to make that frag work. So, overall, a successful point. And leads us back to this 4v4, but look at this push.
Imagine if you're Robin and you see a CT player running through a smoke with his back looking at you. That would catch you off guard.
Oh, it does the job. It nets them that frag. Now they're beginning to build up over towards A, but look at how dry they're going. uFrag, they have no idea this was even coming. They were building up so quickly. Adam, he's going to be looking to stop this one right from behind, but he needs to be quicker. He's going so slow, looking to really at least catch off this bomb planter, which he will do in successful fashion. Pulse trying to respond, but Adam, again, being that successful Thorn, he's doing his job. But the rest of his team, now the work is on them because we're still looking at Stanley and Jenko left standing. Jenko will go for the cross. Jenko to catch off the head of Adam. Now looking for the pre-fires over towards this garbage position, and he's doing a good job of it so far. Dom getting denied with this Famous.
Yes, look, there's a molly in the smoke. And now Stanley can just spray them both down. Gets one, spots the player truck. Just play for time now. As the flashes out, obviously Dom going to be going for the stick. He's actually going to try to stick this. Stanley tries to get the knife. Doesn't connect it, and Dom will win that round.
Going for the knife there didn't really feel like it was worthwhile.
Don't think he even cared, to be fair. I mean, in his eyes, this one's a bit better, doesn't he?
As much as I don't care, I have this dream, Snods, right? I have this dream where watching a match of competitive UK Counter-Strike actually feels like watching a match of competitive Counter-Strike, and not just one side having a bit of a laugh, and the other side working through blood, sweat, and tears to actually make it work. Because that's what it feels like right now. uFrag, it feels like they're genuinely trying to battle through these emotions, and FM, they're just kind of doing their own thing and having a bit of a giggle.
There's 2 ways to look at it if you're uFrag. You're playing with a standard, you can play quite relaxed and be like, oh, it's fine, you know. Dom, we haven't played with you, it's fine if we lose like this, but could be some frustration, maybe a bit of ego coming in there as well. I mean, you don't want to be losing this hard to players who are some of these players are your friends. You don't want to be getting dominated like this, and uFrag, they got the 1-man lead. Can they capitalize off this?
So far, so good as Dom. We'll be able to claim the life of Jenko, and that 1-man lead has dwindled down to a 1-man left for FM. Just Neil has got the rifle. Does have himself Kevlar, of course, and a smoke behind him. But even that should make a 1v3 impossible, especially with the position of that bomb.
Yep, so he's in toilets. Either going to go for the save, might try and take a few guns out of uFrag's hands, but uFrag winning a few rounds in a row. Their money's looking pretty decent, and FM, the same cannot be said for them. So, potentially a save coming out from Nilzinho. As with 40 seconds left, this is going to be so hard to win, unless he can find an early frag. If he finds an early frag onto Pommy, that's when it becomes winnable.
Well, one thing is certain, they've broken through the minimum scoreline that we expected. I said kind of that 16-6, 16-7. We're perched at 16-7 right now. We really should be seeing them at least move it towards 8. Especially when you look at sort of what FM are bringing to the table.
Yeah, my prediction was
Your prediction was a little bit more higher on the card.
16-8, 16-9, but FM, they're going to go for the force bite, and if actually uFrag can win this, we could be looking at 13-9, and when it's only a 4-round difference, that's winnable.
Yeah, certainly is something that they can try and make work. The Molotov is going to somewhat slow them down, so certainly breaking up the tempo.
He's tagged his teammate. I think he was headshot his teammate by accident there. Unfortunately,
Bit of a friendly love fight.
and also the tag, a little bit of damage there, going on to Robin. That's going to be the 4-man fast rotate through connected. They're going to hit this A-bomb site.
Tommy going to be the man to start the show and looking to end it as well. Backing up now by Adam, and he just goes for the consistent peaks, is hitting the shots, leaving just Jenko with a Tech 9 to...
Can he ace it?
I
Well,
mean, I
sorry,
feel
can
like
he get a
that
4K even?
That's a big ask. I don't even know if that's a sensible ask at this point, as Dom will eventually find the frag. Not too much that Jenko could do, and well, now it is back towards this buy round now. When I looked towards the first buy round that we saw, it was very, very close and pretty much came right down to, does he go for a knife? If he went for a knife...
Yeah, he could have just easily spam that smoke directly looking forward, and he would have killed Dom.
It would have still been close, bear in mind.
Yeah.
It would have still been, like, I don't want to say just off the back of him going for a knife he lost the round. It would have still been, you know, relying on the fact
He
that
could have
those
sprayed
shots...
in the wrong direction. We saw him knife in the wrong direction, so...
So it could have still been a varying sort of, you know, title, but nonetheless, we're now looking at our 22nd. It's been a solid start for FM, but Cray, he's going counter-aggressive, but it's the same sort of storyline. And Neil, he's being given free reign to go for these kind of readjustments on these heads. And Cray and Dom, well, it's not quite Halloween anymore. You want your heads, you're not quite rocking that headless look. It's just Hype and Adam.
Dom needs to be holding his teammates' cover there. I mean, he's the other player mid. He's watching mid as well. Cray's in mid. He's got the frag mid. Hold his flank, watch long, and watch the end of playground. And instead, I think it was Neil that came and just sprayed down Cray and then sprayed down Dom and made it 2 versus 4. But these are 2 picks for uFrag, and now we're stuck in a 2 versus 2.
Does give them the opportunity to make this much more doable, especially off the back of that headshot to be connected. Pulse will at least find the quick trade, but as a 1v1, it's Adam up against Pulse. 2 very strong players in their own like. From a utility point of view, both pretty much have nothing aside from Pulse with a sultry flash.
He can fake it as well, use the flash to his advantage, but Adam here playing aggressive, and this is smart. He will catch Pulse potentially off guard, but if he goes back towards bridge, Pulse is watching, and if he plants the bomb as well, the smoke will fade, so Adam here. Unless Pulse goes towards A.
That was kind of what was sitting in the back of my mind right now. Pulse strikes me as the sort of player that would actually go for that. He's confident enough to try and make that play work. In the same regard, he's feeling a little bit sort of pressure from above. He doesn't quite know the position of Adam still, which certainly leaves a lot less to be desired, and that's pitting him back towards the site. Adam gets the easy peek, and the shot will eventually net him around on the board for his team. So a clutch, again, falling into the CT side court. We're seeing 13-9 now. Strike away the rest of this match. Look at just this scoreline, look at just these 2 teams. 13-9. uFrag on a CT side of Overpass.
Winnable.
Oh, straight up, you answered the question.
Yeah,
prompted. Do you think it's doable? Yeah.
So yes, so we've seen from uFrag as well. It seems like the CT clutches are what's important in this game. I mean, 2 going in the favor of uFrag, and then 2 were going in the favor of FM. And now we're looking at a 4-round difference. And uFrag, as I mentioned before, they are a mix. They are playing with Dom, who they haven't got much experience with, and it's so hard to play T-side overpass when you haven't got the strats and the defaults on lockdown. And instead, it's a lot easier to play on the CT side where you can play looser, you can play solo, you can play individually, have a flash from your teammate here and there, but the skill from uFrag, we've seen some nice headshots coming out from them, and they've been playing very smart. They're not playing too aggressive, and when they are playing aggressive, it works for them.
There still have been some flaws though, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm still waiting, just a little bit more of a reality to kick in. Maybe someone just to pinch me and say this is actually real, they're actually coming back. But for now, let's see what they can do in this round. 55 seconds is coming up on the clock. So the CT side managing to burn down a lot of time. Now, I look at their utility again, something we've stressed ever so much about this lineup, and saying they still have a lot to utilize to keep on slowing down FM, which means that we should be looking at them only being allowed to push within the last 20 or 30 seconds, especially when, you know, you take stock of the fact that Pommy, he's got a Molotov, he's got himself a frag grenade. The rest of his team, they all have flashes pretty much. So there's so much stopping power for the CT side that when FM push, they should be not only blind, but they should be feeling the pressure and not being given free roam. This is where the smokes begin to pop. The Molotov not quite going to go down, will allow Stanley the free peak potential just to dive on straight through Adam. Just will find himself one, but not before the trades can be found. And this again, it feels like those mistakes are beginning to really take hold. Dom trying to make the retake work, and in fairness, will have up with a quick headshot.
It's a 3 versus 3 now, and no AWP on the uFrag side, so this is going to be good for them. They do have the close range weapons and the smoke, and then the Molotov as well, so they can actually go for a They used the Molotov a bit preemptively there. I mean, you could have smoked off short, used the molly there, and then hold onto long.
Sticking the defuse.
Oh my god, they might actually win this based off the defuse. No, they don't. Stanley sprays them both through the smoke, takes down Craig, who was defusing, then gets the headshot to Hype. So, uFrag there. I mean, you could have smoked off long, used the Molotov onto toilets, and then held short, but instead they go for that Molotov and they push with the Molotov. Pulse gets the 1-for-1 trade. That's all he needed in that situation. Makes it the 2 versus 2. Adam gets the spray down to the player toilets. Stanley wins the 1 versus 2 sprays. The player through the smoke he was defusing. Then gets the nice headshot to Hype and seals the deal, and that makes it 14-9.
FM, they are bunching up. But still only want to be found by Hype. They lined up for him. But Robin, going to be too quick to snap back into action. Leaves us at this 4v4. And I'm all eyes on Adam right now because he could be caught completely off guard and be left in such an uncomfortable spot. Pommy will look to be much more of an aiding factor to stop that from taking place. But anything is possible, especially now with Pommy rotating up and changing his position, leaving us back to this point. Stanley.
There's no one on A though, that's the problem. I mean, if this slow default comes out from FM, they will slowly take toilets control. Once they have control of toilets, they can work the pressure, use the map pressure to their advantage. And now, Pommy being pincered in this connector position will be traded out. It's the 3 versus 3. And right now, this could be favoring FM eSports unless Adam can find some early frags.
Adam, so much work to do in terms of pinning down this site. But that's even if they come his direction. Of course, FM still being ever so fluid. They've got 50 seconds on the clock. They're by no means not really feeling the rush or feeling the pressure. They don't seem to be even showing signs at 20 seconds, let alone the 40 they've got right now, just double that. So they do begin to get themselves set up to push towards this B side. Dom is in a very solid spot to have an impact, but he's just one man. Now, one man up against 3. If FM position themselves correctly here and push, utilizing their flash on Jenko, there shouldn't be too much Dom can do. It should just be a simple refrag potential.
He's playing it smart though. Doesn't want to wide face towards Monster if he does. And actually the spray coming out, the pre-fire is going to not throw away that surprise. And Dom with 2. Can he get a third? He seems to hide here and wait for the CTs to come in. Don't make it 1 versus 2. Play it safe. The flash comes in. 10 seconds now, and Dom has won it for his team.
Plays exactly how he needs to. We'll give Nilzinho a frag to add to his tally. But even then right now, frag's not what either of these teams are looking for. They're looking for that W, and uFrag
plays it smart, doesn't overface, isn't facing towards Monster, and you saw the pre-fire come out for Stanley, blows the cover, and then Dom realizes what's going on. The player runs into his crosshair, not looking at him, takes that first headshot, peeks, takes on Stanley with another crisp headshot from close range, and then hides and stays alive, and Nilzinho, only 10 seconds left, loses the round.
I think a very pertinent point now to touch on is just take a look at the economy of FM. Then take a look at the scoreline. We are dead set on our way to a 14-14.
14-12 if uFrag can win this. And then once it's 14-12, if they win that, it will be the 14-14.
Well, that's where things begin to really kind of, well...
So we're looking at 2 more gun rounds that uFrag need to win if they want to equalize the score.
Never would have thought we would have been getting that close. I remember your words at the end of that first half, which is they may as well just concede and learn from their losses. Well,
that's a good pause.
Yeah, whatever they did in that pause, which arguably...
should have done in the last map.
Yeah, they should have actually used in the last map. Seems to be working out for them. They've got themselves going. The aggressive push is going to be rolling out. These pistols going to enable them to take full control. But it's one that they seem to be more than happy just to get themselves straight in towards these afterplants.
All rotating from CT, which means there will be no backstab. uFrag might even concede this round and save and play for the 15-15.
Looks like such a big ask.
Yeah, but at this point, I mean, they're not winning this round if they go for it. Actually, Hype there with confidence. Will flash himself through. Will go for the peak. Does find the first. Actually, no. Sprays with Pulse. Does find the first. But there's 4 players towards mid and 1 player, 3 players mid and 1 player long. And actually, Jenko will find 1. Stanley will spread another one. Dom in the 1 versus 4 will be killed through the smoke by Robin. Should have really saved at that point. I mean, you could have potentially... imagine winning 5 in a row. I mean, it sounds such a big ask, but...
Yeah, but I mean, you say like it sounds like a big ask. Just whip up the scoreboard for a second. Look at that scoreboard. Look at the amount that has been won in a row by uFrag. That's more than 5.
Exactly.
Just
that's
at a quick glance, we know that's more than 5.
And you could have reset. If you won the previous round when it was 15-10, win that round, you reset them, you get 2, 13-15. Win that gun round, 15-15.
Now look at what we're seeing. Tell me this is not what they were aiming for, right? This is, as much as, yeah, they were, assuming they could win that round, they have to go huge. But Pommy apparently going to put on a bit of a show with a fails to go huge in this round. He's the one man that can basically change the pace because of him having an impact
in the round. As I said before, he is the player that wants to play aggressive. You have teams where they have the aggressive CT player. You look at Fnatic, you've got Olofmeister. You look at Dinotas, you have Config. You look at SK, you've got Fur. You need a CT aggressive player, and Pommy finds the early frags and nets his team a 2-man lead.
eventually will pay the price though, and it's the price, well, it's going to be his own head. Pulse, the man to snap on away, pits us back to a bit more of a workable spot for FM. Really want to see uFrag trying to gain some weaponry right now, because it still certainly feels like it's just this Famous there to really make the best of things, and the rest of these pistols is something that I can always expect to be isolated. As Adam's going to be taking the long-range battles, gets given it with almost ease. Eventually, the trade will be connected by Pulse, but numbers are starting to dwindle. The 2v3, much more contestable, especially off the back of now Dom claiming one life. Pulse going to push on through, but he is blind, and
No kit though, so if the bomb does go down, and Pulse decides to play this slow, opt to play this slow, could be a lot of pressure on the uFrag side. They need to play it quite fast. He will fit the bomb out. The boost as well. Did he spot the head? If he did, he will know that it might not be playing too aggressive. He can wide face and pre-aim this angle. The boost catches on the car, but the whiff comes out. Take that back. Hype will take him down with the 3 spray onto the body. Take that Pulse. 15-11. I mean, uFrag, they win the gun rounds. Winning the gun rounds isn't the problem. They lost versus the Force Buy, and now FM, we could be seeing them on another Force Buy. What happened last time was they caught Adam off guard in mid, and they took the A site and they won the after plant. FM, they're great at playing the numbers. When they have the 3 versus 3 or the 4 versus 3 in their favor, they don't lose those after plants. uFrag, they need the early frags. You saw Pommy there getting 2. If he didn't get that, that could have been FM's round.
yeah, kind of the biggest narrative in itself is look back towards FM. Look at what they can bring to the table. It's still not a shabby buy by a long shot. The only man to really sort of show any signs of weakness is Neil on a Tech 9. Now, a Tech 9 is even then not so bad, especially when the rest of your team have an AWP and 3 rifles in play. So FM, they're still looking to take this one, and uFrag, they still have their work cut out for them. I think getting to 11 is very, very memorable, and a lot of credit has to be given to them. But it's the same mistakes being made eventually that leads us back to this point where FM, they squeezed out 15, and something just makes me feel like it is that kind of impending axe for uFrag that goes, when are they finally just going to make one mistake?
If Pommy throws away the entry onto A, this could be the round over instantly. And oh my god, Jenko hits the flick!
Oh, what a shot coming in from Jenko. Just exactly what they needed to start this one off. You talked about the entry not being found. Well, what a way to fall. The Stanley goes aggressive, cuts down Adam right where he stands.
Like
and uFrag, their bodies are being laid. Not like this is the call to come on out. Nom will at least find one for his troubles, but one by one, they will fall. They're getting themselves ready. As FM eSports, they have one more frag to find. It will be connected. 16-11 will be the scoreline for this second map. And yes, uFrag, they brought things back to a much more contestable scoreline. It was much more, I'd say, respectable overall.
I mean, it was 8-3. 8-3 at that point in the game. If uFrag had won the knife round and started on the CT side, we could have been seeing something better there. But instead,